For more on this potentially historic weather event, we go to meteorologist Jeff Berardelli. Jeff, still waiting to figure out exactly how many people died. It's tragic, no matter what that number is. But we're talking about here potentially the first EF5 tornado in the U.S. in 8 years, and potentially the longest track of a tornado in U.S. history.
These are things we won't be able to verify until probably later today or tomorrow, but it may have been on the ground, maybe, for 250 miles. The old record, 220 miles. We haven't seen an EF5 in around 8 or 9 years. That would mean winds could be over, 250, 300 miles an hour with this particular cell that was on the ground for 4 states. So this is going to be an historic tornado outbreak, one of the worst we have seen in the nation's history. So first, I want to bring this up and show you the big picture. Very heavy snow in the upper Midwest and a lot of severe weather to the south. Whenever you see this kind of setup, a lot of warm air, a lot of cold air colliding, it tends to be an explosive setup, and that's exactly what we saw. Take a look at how many tornado reports we had overnight, about 33 so far and counting. And the strongest one went through 4 states. Quad state tornado is what it's being called right now. Could have been on the ground 250 miles, and take a look at that. Debris lofted into the atmosphere 7 miles high. So that is an impressive storm. So what could have caused this? Well, I have to tell you, the amount of warm air that pushed north into this storm is very rare for December. It's a symptom of climate change. Oh, and by the way, we have a La Nina, and it's typical during La Ninas that we see tornadoes in this general area. 30 in Minneapolis, 80 in Memphis. That collision zone is where we had enough instability for this severe weather. At the same time, what we had right there, and we're going to put it on over to the weather wall and show you. Take a look at the surface. Southerly winds in the upper levels, southwesterly winds, that caused the spin in the atmosphere, and that was the very volatile atmosphere. One more thing I want to show you. This is going to continue to move east. It will produce severe weather today, but not nearly as severe. But take a look at these temperatures in places like, New York City today. By the end of the day, we'll be well up in the upper 50s and mid 60s. So a very warm day. And then behind the front, much colder air is going to be moving on in. And that's not it. All on the West Coast, we're going to see a huge atmospheric river, guys. And it looks like a very volatile few days along the West Coast with heavy rain and heavy snow, maybe 6 feet of snow in the Sierra Nevada.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. Of course, we're going to continue to keep people up to date and monitor the aftermath of these storms all day, and also on our streaming station, CBSN. So tune in for the latest. Obviously, those pictures right now in darkness. Once light hits, things may certainly change.